Do it.
Good evening. Welcome to this week's Burning Questions. Hopefully. We'll be taking questions that you may have. Any questions that the coterie may have. Yes, we can confirm Ms. Hartz is an arsonist, not a smoker.
Wait, you said it's burning questions.
Oh,
Well, what's the question?
it's funny because you explained it.
I don't know. I was waiting for something to burn.
Apparently, Cult of the Blood Gods sells a miniskirt.
Yes.
Huh.
We'll make that
Really?
the first announcement. For
Yeah.
backers of Cult of the Blood God, you can buy your t-shirt for the next 7 days, but only the next 7 days. They also sell a little line A dress. That's an A dress, not an Idris. Baseball shirt and various other
But it's only for
paraphernalia.
backers.
I'm not sure.
Oh, by the way,
Just wanna
people,
see the phrase. Send me a link.
don't worry. I'm at least 6 feet away from these people, so it's fine.
You have feet?
I'll toss it in Twitch.
I didn't say anything about standing. I said I'm 6 feet away. Oh, 6 feet. Never mind.
It's funny because you explained it to yourself.
That's true.
Hey, it wasn't in my brain that 6 feet was feet. It was, I always think of it as a distance, not actual feet. So,
Wordplay.
now it's even funnier.
Okay, that skirt's kind of cute.
Takako didn't want one, so I was tempted to buy one for her, just because she didn't want it.
How is
I
she gonna?
want that. What size does it come in? Oh, it comes in bigger sizes. I want that. Anyway,
If you buy it, you have
Anyway,
to model
we're
it on
shopping
screen for us.
online.
yeah, I
We're
have
shopping
to
online.
have to justify it somehow. But the link's in chat.
I mean, you can justify it by saying,
Sure.
I want that, so I'm going to buy it.
But I wouldn't have that much of an opportunity to wear it. It's not like I'm going out clubbing right now.
Right now.
Um,
I mean, it would be perfect for one of your burlesque routines.
Actually, it would.
Yeah?
And there is a club here called Elysium.
Really?
Oh, really?
Ooh,
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you been?
nice.
It's got, oh yeah, quite a few times. They've had drag shows there before, and burlesque shows. That's
Drag
where
shows?
Goth Prom was
It
at.
must be. Does it have a huge racetrack?
Yeah, it's about a quarter-mile long stage.
That's not bad, yeah. So we've got a question. We've got 2 questions. We'll
We
go
have
with
questions?
Celest's first. So, who do you think the figure was that sped off by the river?
I was actually thinking about this earlier today. It was either a random goon like the ones that were in the club that broke into my car, or it was maybe not the shadowy figure guy that we've been asking questions about, the guy that walked off with Monique. But maybe it was like Angelo, or I'm thinking just some goon, or maybe Angelo.
I think it was the murderer.
Yeah. It was the
Oh,
Ripper, and we were that
Monique's
close to
murderer?
catching him. No, Maria's murderer.
Why do you keep saying Mariah? What's wrong with Mariah?
'Cause that's not her name.
Shiver said it was Maria.
Because
How do
apparently
you spell it?
Mariah is spelled differently.
Well, you spell Mariah M-A-R-I-A-H. You spell Maria M-A-R-A-Y-A.
Oh yeah, that's Maria.
A-Y-A?
Yeah, that's Maria.
Maria.
That makes sense.
Maraya. Yeah. Maria.
That's Maria.
There's no R in there.
M-A-R-A-Y-A.
Maria.
Don't you question my spelling, man.
I need to type it out to see it in order to figure
All
it
right,
out. but that's
the
fine.
next
Moving
NPC
on.
we talk to will have a name in Wingdings.
whenever-
No, it'll just be Welsh.
The
Whenever
murderer
we
formerly
have to
known
say
as
her name-
Maria.
Whenever we have to say her name, our mouth just opens up and the fax noise just comes out.
Shiver Data's going like that.
Her name was Cannon. Anyone else got any thoughts on who the mysterious figure was that sped off down the river?
I think
We're
it's
just a
Kane.
murderer, like you
It's
said.
gotta be.
Kane?
No, he's
That's
a taxi
lucky.
driver that Pandora has.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to say something. I assumed, you know.
Yeah, it's. I
think it
do
was
that. I slip
bloody
these.
lupine again.
I try to slip these small Easter eggs in that if you know what it is, you're like, is that? Yeah, no, is that? Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I caught the taxi driver right away.
The mysterious figure wasn't
figure.
Maria.
It
That's
wasn't a
Groundhog.
suicide.
No.
Yeah,
But
she
that would have been
screamed
clever.
mitosis to herself and then jumped into the river.
So,
Typical.
I believe everyone, but the possible exception of Fastcart, who might have watched it live, has either taken part in or watched the VOD. Anyone got any
I watched
particular
it
highlights? Oh, yeah. Anyone got, or on live?
Hmm.
Has anyone got any particular highlights or anything they want to talk about?
I do.
Please.
I liked it when Amon confronted that priest, Father John, or just John as he called him.
Oh, John.
Oh, John.
Father John the John.
I like the fact that like Kalo left me in there to fend for myself like I was gonna mess up. And then I just confidently walked out of there, locked the door, threw away the keys, was like, all right, got your information. Come on, let's go.
Possibly the best.
Did you get the information though?
Possibly the best information extraction performed in the game ever.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Done
That's
by
pretty
the
epic.
fighter.
Oh,
In V5,
I don't-
can anyone learn celerity? Yes. That's a good question. Yes, but celerity in comparison to the previous versions has been nerfed quite a lot because you used to be able to stack
I noticed
celerity.
that.
You could stack celerity so you were constantly attacking, and then you would attack again, and then you would attack again, and then you would attack again, and then you were like, yep, everyone's dead. Now you can't do that.
I know I
Yeah,
have celerity, but I use my abilities so little that I always forget which one that one is.
I mean,
Celerity is what Xavier always uses.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Blink one.
To jump on things and go fast and
Okay, so yeah, okay. I was gonna say
We make things go.
I remember what the sub disciplines for each one are called. I just forget which ones they belong to sometimes.
I usually
Yeah.
have to.
I mean, it's one of the small issues with the way that disciplines are now. People like Triangularity, who's played older versions, is like, I want to use Dominate. Okay, which Dominate power?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
But it's one of the smaller gripes that older players have with V5, or some older players have with V5, is the way that disciplines are now, because you can't have every single discipline in the entire tree, because they now want your character to be a bit more unique and individual. Some people
Yeah.
want all the powers, so you can homebrew that, or you could just be like,
And when I
So
was
my
looking
question is-
into it, when I was looking into it at one point, I noticed that you can, because like every level, there's levels to each discipline, and some levels have different branches that you can take. And from what I was reading, is you can actually like at level 4, if there's 2 different ones to choose from, you can choose one of them, and then when you go to level 5, you can either choose the one at level 5, or you can go back and choose one of the other one from level 4. But that means that
Right.
you won't get the level 5 one. So I
Wait,
think that's
what?
kind of an
You won't get the level
interesting
5 one
trade-off.
if you don't choose the level 4?
Mhm.
Really?
If you've got
If you choose 2 level 4s.
Mhm.
or
If you
or
what?
some of the lower powers as well. There's I think it's level 2 you get a choice again. So if you choose both level 2 powers, you can't have the level 5 power.
It's like gimbling it. If you put a gimbal on a size 4 mount, you can only put a size 3 weapon on it.
Well,
I
yeah,
think if-
but if
I
you-
think of it less of like you're not leveling up the skill, you're getting a point that you can buy one of the skills with, and you can only buy the level 5 one if you've already bought the level 4 one. But if you bought 2 level 4s, you can't then buy level 5 because you no longer
yeah,
have a level
obviously.
5 point. Yeah, so
Yes, you
yeah,
can
but
have 2
but
and
I
a
was
3.
saying
saying-
like if you buy 2 level 1, that means you can't get on level 5. You can't skip.
yeah,
can't
because you
skip
can
to
only
level
go
3.
up to level 5.
You
you
have
can
to get
only buy
if you want a
5
level
in
2
total.
power, you have to have a level 1 power. If you want a level 3 power, you have to have a level 2 power, and so on. So if you've got 2 from the
Right.
same level, it means you've sacrificed one of the higher powers.
Yeah, even though there's 5 levels, you only get 5 points to spend. So you can only have 5.
You can only have 5
Powers.
dots in a
So-
discipline.
Right.
So I think the
More
question
dots.
is, can you get 2 level 1s and then a level 3?
No. You would have to get a level 2.
It
I thought you couldn't get a level 2 though if you had 2 level 1s.
No, you could. You could, as
No,
long
no,
as you've got at
you-
least one in the previous level, you can go up to the next level. But if you had 2 dots in a level 1 power, you would never be able to have a level 5 power. If you went for 2 dots again,
Because you used that dot.
exactly.
Now, here's a
Yeah, if
question.
you have 2 dots-
I was
So
wondering.
it's not that you can't go up, it's that you've capped yourself.
Yeah.
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 So you're like, if you have 2
It's
dots
not-
in any single level, you can't get to level 5 in anything.
Right. And if you had,
exactly.
if you did it again, then you would be sacrificing a level 4 power.
Mm.
The question I
Traven,
have
you can
is,
have anything you
so-
want.
amalgam disciplines. I've noticed in some of the later content they'll put in, say, like an amalgam discipline listed under, say, obtenebration. That's a amalgam between obtenebration and Auspex at, say, level 2 or level 3. Because it's an amalgam between those 2 disciplines, do I have to purchase it as a obtenebration one, or can I purchase it as an obtenebration or an Auspex? Or fortitude, or whatever it's out, because I
You
would
would have to
assume-
have, if it's an amalgamation power, say it needs you to have a certain power in Auspex 2, you would need to have the Auspex 2
Yeah.
power first, then you can buy the dot with your XP for the amalgam obtenebration.
But it wouldn't work if, say, you met the level requirement for obtenebration, and then you were getting a dot for, say, that level of Auspex to take that amalgam as an Auspex dot instead.
Yeah, you wouldn't
You know what I'm
automatically
saying?
get the Auspex dot. You would have to have the Auspex dot already.
Gotcha. Well,
The only
not
thing
that you'd
that's
automatically get the Auspex dot, but instead of getting your, say it requires 2 obtenebration and 2 Auspex, right? You've
Mhm.
already got 2 obtenebration, you're getting 2 Auspex. Now, instead of getting whatever normal power you'd get, could you get the amalgam power? That's my question. I don't know. The amalgam basically is a combination of 2 disciplines. Does it matter which discipline tree you use to unlock it? I'm not sure.
I think unless it specifically says, say, the only one that comes to mind, say if you could have cloud memory and you need cloud
Okay.
memory and something else for the obtenebration, then you can get it. If you didn't have cloud memory, you couldn't get it.
You can't get it. Yeah.
Unless you
I think the
sacrifice the
only
level
thing that's-
5 power and so on.
I think the only thing that's really
Right,
bothered
Zelisk.
me right now is the fact that I got animalism, Everyone knows that because I killed Kalo's dog.
You killed Kalo's dog?
Yeah. To be fair, I killed a dog. You're the one that made it Kalo's dog.
No
Did
regrets.
Dad know?
But anyway, to be fair, the only part of that discipline I'm really interested in as a character is the first level one. But the first level one is one of those disciplines that improves the more dots you have in that discipline because it uses those dots in its dice pool. So it's like, I don't want to spend the XP to level it up because I don't want anything else from it. But if I ever want it to be the best it can be, I have to spend XP in it and then get stuff that I mean, I could probably find some use for animalism at some point, but
I have a random question. How powerful are your characters at the moment now?
Too powerful.
yeah,
Really?
to be fair, I've spent a lot of XP on my character's abilities. So a lot of my abilities are pretty decently high.
Yeah, I've been deciding to put mine into skills and attributes instead of disciplines,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't regret.
So how many dots do you have in your attribute? Like how many four dots or whatever?
I don't have any that are 4 dot right now, but I have a ton that are 3 dot.
Mm.
Because I feel
think
like
comparatively,
I think I have a 4 dot.
I think
There are
comparatively,
4
Isaac's
dots.
I think Isaac's probably a lot weaker than a lot of the other Kodo. He's probably in part because he joined the game later, and he is a younger van.
I have
They're all
2
meant to
4
be
dots.
younger.
And what?
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Resolve and manipulation. And then I have 3
Oh.
in intelligence, charisma, and strength.
I
Hey,
actually
Tina.
have not I have not actually upgraded any of my. Hold on, I'm trying to open my character. I haven't upgraded any of my traits, but I've upgraded tons of my skills. So all my
Say
traits
traits,
are
you mean-
still default. Traits are like dexterity, strength, stamina, stuff like that. So I
Attributes.
still
I was
have.
going to call them attributes.
Right, I think they're technically.
Yeah,
called
sometimes it's
attributes.
called attributes. On the sheet, it's called traits. It's confusing.
Yeah, it's so by default you get 1 4.1, so I still have that one at 4 dots. But for my skills, which I don't remember how many default skills you get at 3 dot, I have 5 skills in
I have
at
5.
3 dots.
So yes, way too
And
powerful.
1, 2, 3, 4. I have 7
I
skills
was just
that are 2
curious.
dots.
So I find it interesting that you're all putting them all in attributes or traits and your skills rather than your disciplines.
Yeah, because at first Amon was built very fight first, do everything else second. And then I realized that a lot of the stuff that we rely on Kalo a bit for, Kalo's still much better than me in a lot of the aspects that he can do. But I kind of spec'd into some of those because I knew that my character would be slightly good at it. So like I spec'd into technology. I also spec'd a little bit into larceny because I didn't want to just go around everywhere breaking down doors.
How much does the level 5 discipline cost? XP.
Where's my
Mm,
cheat
that
sheet?
is-
I have a
Yeah,
cheat sheet,
I don't remember discipline costs.
and I pinned it.
Discipline.
I pinned it in Shiver's Discord too.
25 XP?
25
It-
XP
it
for
might-
first.
Okay,
It
so
would
what was
be
it? Discipline or
Discipline.
Is it 4 times 7?
discipline? If it's a clan discipline, it's new level times 5. If it's not, it's new level times 7.
So if you're
Okay,
going
okay.
4 to 5, it's 25. But if you're going, say, like 1 to 5, it's a lot more.
No, I mean 4 to 5. But that's only
Yeah,
if
4
it's
to
in your
5 is
clan.
25.
If it's out of your clan, then it's 35.
There's also a bit more complications
Yes.
if it's out of clan as well. You've got to
Yeah.
feed
gotta
on.
learn somehow.
Yeah.
You've got to feed on a mortal with the right resonance to learn discipline.
You have to kill your coterie member's dog.
So when I started, I was all like, yeah, disciplines. But then I found I kept picking disciplines that other people already had. And I thought it would be better if I
I mean,
made other
'cause
things
I was just
stronger
wondering,
instead.
I was just wondering, because some of those level 5 disciplines, as from what I read, are pretty OP. So
Yeah, but
I was
getting
just
to a level
wondering.
5 discipline takes a long time.
It's not
Mhm.
as OP as it used to be because there's now also the blood potency which comes into play.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like the
It would
the only
take
skill I
75 experience points to get a level 5 discipline from scratch
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Isaac has
Within their clan.
50.
within your clan. Yeah.
Blood potency is the potency of your blood. The more potent your blood is, the stronger your disciplines can be. The more you can heal.
So actually, is that dependent or not dependent on the potency discipline? On the potent discipline?
They give you more dice to play with when you cast a
Yes.
discipline, I believe.
So Requiem used blood potency, and then VTM used generation, vampire generations. V5
Yeah, I remember
kind
that.
of combined them. So
Yeah.
basically, the lower your generation kind of gives you like a starting potency level, and then within your generation, you basically have some wiggle room. So you could technically have a vampire who's maybe a generation older or younger with equal potency, or maybe the newer vampire actually has a higher potency just if they've kind of been more active or something like that. So there's a little bit of
The
wiggle
higher-
room, but
There's a lot of
Right.
really nice benefits to upping your blood potency, but there are also a lot of really bad like drop offs that like right now I think the highest that I would be willing to go right now or anytime soon would be 2. And Cedra is I think the only character in our
I'm at 2,
coterie
yeah.
that's at 2. But
And Cedar's
past
also
that,
got the
you
lowest
start-
humanity.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean that makes
Yeah,
sense. The
correlation.
more potent you get, the less human you get too.
No, we already knew
Yeah.
that, right? We already knew you had low humanity.
It's,
That and because I diablerized someone, I'm 12th generation.
That brought you down 1, and then you fed on that woman, and I dropped you off another humanity too.
Yep.
So you
Yeah,
should be.
during the-
You were
during the
humanity 5. I can't remember if we gave you back another one for the rescue of Armand's wife.
Yeah, there was something. No, I'm at 5. You dropped me down to
You-
4, and then you gave me one back.
Ah,
You've been pretty good about
I'm
asking us if we need a remorse or anything like that, but I think the only one that's really been steadily dropping in humanity is Cedra.
I mean, remorse will only get rid of a
That's not
stain.
character.
Mhm.
Remorse only gets rid of a stain. A stain is like superficial
Right.
damage to your humanity tracker, whereas if
Yeah,
you
and that's what
lose,
I had was a stain.
and the humanity really should really affect your character as well. A
Hmm.
human is humanity 7.
I'm
Which I
humanity
try to
6.
play it that way. The difference is I care a lot about the coterie. So I seem compassionate,
Yes, I'm 6.
but not so much to humans.
I'm this many.
That's why I lure them into back alleys and flirt with them, and
Happy away.
And if your
Yeah,
potency
so-
gets
yeah,
too
that-
high, if
Go
your
ahead.
potency gets too high, you can't even feed on humans anymore. You have to start feeding on vampires.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a
What happened
like
when
a
we
you
make this
transition.
going for a long time.
There's a transition point where you cannot you can only start like getting back hunger by like really draining humans. Then you can only get it back by straight up draining them and killing them. Then it's like, oh,
Mhm.
humans don't even do it anymore.
And the thing is, as well,
See,
if
like
you
an
drain a
addiction.
human, you lose humanity.
Right.
Mhm.
See,
Yeah, so-
hearing that make me afraid for like the werewolf version 5 because I mean in regular werewolf like the apocalypse, when I say regular, you can get raid pretty easily. Like you just stub your toe and get a raid back. If they use this system in werewolf, I can imagine it'll be yeah.
Well, I mean, they're trying to bring out the fact that vampires are monsters. And they're really trying to
Mhm.
emphasize that fact in this one as well, because previous to that, a lot of people just played them as, gritty anti-heroes. But they are parasites. They are meant to be monsters. And it's quite funny because some of the discussions on Reddit, the polarization between people, it's like, oh, why should I be a monster? It's like, oh, why are they monsters? Just because they feed on humans. And the exact opposite argument is, yes, because they feed on fucking humans.
On humans.
What? You want to
You're a-
sparkle too?
You're an apex predator.
Hmm.
Put
I
it
mean-
that way.
Groundhog says, but I thought vampires were heroes. I mean, I assume he's being a bit sarcastic, but if you look at what you guys have done outside the bubble, you're bastards. The most noble thing you've done is rescue Armand's family, and the only reason you did that was because it's Armand's family.
Family.
And the only reason why we're
Um,
really looking for the Ripper is because it's a potential masquerade breach. It's not because he's going around murdering people. It's because if he gets caught, we get caught.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you're looking for him because you're ordered to, not because you.
Yeah, that's what I
actually-
said. We were told to.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
that too.
yeah.
Actually, I think you'll find that the reason
Oh,
they're
God.
doing them is because there wouldn't be much of a story without it.
I meant within
another
the
thing
story,
is-
Shiver.
One of the reasons werewolves and vampires don't get along well is the Guru. Like when they see vampires, like the vampires overwhelmingly have that worm sting. So like when
Right.
werewolves interact with vampires, they sense the worm and puts them into like a rage, right? And it doesn't matter. You could have a normal vanilla human who is secretly like a horrible serial killer, right? And then you could have a vampire who is like humanity 10 on the path of Golconda, doing everything he or she could do for the betterment of the world. You put a werewolf in front of them, the werewolf will be like, okay, human, you're normal, you're natural, I'll ignore you. They're going to look at that high humanity vampire and be like, you are this evil monster of the worm. I need to destroy you now.
I've dated girls like
Mhm.
that.
and that's part of the reason that I found Mercy so interesting, because he's he's surrounded by all these vampires, but if he does what he wants to do, he has to pay for it ultimately. And I can't say what the payment is, but yeah. Oh yeah, that's why I like Mercy.
Celis
I,
asks an interesting one, even though he's probably being a little bit. I assume he. I don't know. I'm sorry if you're he, she, or they.
They.
Who can't see
They.
in the dark?
I don't have any special skills for it.
I don't
You've
think
got-
anyone-
And I wear a freaking
because-
helmet all the time.
I mean, you've got slightly heightened senses naturally from being kindred.
Supernaturally.
Right.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think the best way to see in pitch black, I think your only options are the
To get Riddick?
Samba's Auspex ability. I forget what it's called. Where like their eyes go black and they invert dark and light. So they see sources of light as pitch black and dark spots as light. And then the other one is the Protean ability that gives you like those animal eyes, those glowing red animal eyes, predator eyes or something like that. I forget what it's called. Auspex can help a little bit because it heightens your senses. But yeah, I don't think that necessarily helps you in pitch black.
Heightened senses will let you see in pitch black.
I
Really?
also
Okay, well, there
Pitch
you go.
darkness, ultrasonic frequencies, and smell the fear of cowering prey. But it does also come with the drawback of if someone uses a flashbang, you're like, what the hell? Oh my god!
worst hangover. No, my
I guess
favorite
for
my favorite thing is the fact that I think the the description on my character's like mask helmet thing is it's made to where no normal person would be able to hear or see out of it, but because of my heightened senses I can or whatever. And I just like to think that my stupid helmet that I wear all the time for no apparent reason anymore just gives me normal like human senses because it dulls my heightened senses.
Oh, but Shiver, I have to correct you on one thing. Not only does flashbang make you blind, seeing an old man in stark garters, that'll make you blind too.
Wearing rubber gloves. Don't forget the rubber gloves.
Yeah,
Oh,
rubber
yeah.
gloves too, yeah.
Pair of marigolds.
he's gonna
Yeah,
wash off. He has to wash off his sin.
Oh, Celisk is a
Something.
he. Oh, good. I didn't offend. That's my one. That is my one fear of, oh shit, I might have said something insensitive during our Vampire the Masquerade game. But I mean, Vampire isn't progressive that much in that sense, but they do have characters that identify as they.
Isn't there a way to actually change your genitals?
Only if you're a thin blood.
If you're a Sismisi, oh yeah.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah, it's a meatsy
What?
too. Yeah,
How did
Yeah,
Yeah, I
what?
thought
Sismisi-
there was some way to do that.
a thin blood can just change gender to anything.
That's interesting. Why only a thin blood?
Really?
Because it's thin blood alchemy,
Oh.
where it's an actual physical thing they do to their body, whereas kindred
Gotcha.
heal.
I was saying, and if you
If
think
it's-
about it, since thin blood is in between human and vampire, vampires are kind of stuck how we are, and humans can die. So you kind of need the in between there to be able to shapeshift in a way.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
Noskavian's quite right when he
can-
says about Tzimisce, at least because I mean we haven't got Tzimisce in V5 officially yet, but their clan signature power is what's the name? Vicissitude.
Vicissitude. Yep.
Yeah, where they can
And- Pessimus.
Like they can get
change.
very alien.
Yeah, they can change any living thing to anything they want.
Hmm.
And Sasha Vikos, I think that's the current name for Sasha Vikos. There was the Anarch Revolt, the original one, which gave birth to the Sabbat. During the treaty between the newly formed Camarilla and the Anarchs of the time, Sasha chopped off his willy and threw it in the face of Hardstedt, and from then on became known as no longer male. Changed their body into something else and identifies as a they. And there's
See,
other cases of things similar, maybe less immature in lore.
for
Yeah, I mean-
W5, I'm thinking like maybe a Metis would be able to shapeshift like that, because if all model with a Metis, but we'll see.
I'm sorry, what did you say, darling?
Me?
Yes, I missed it. I was
Mhm.
typing. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I said maybe I'm in Werewolf in 5th edition Werewolf. I'm thinking maybe a Metis would be able to do that because of all the disadvantages an event and a Metis would have. That would make sense for a Metis almost, but we'll see.
Because they're almost, in a way, gameplay mechanic-wise, they're the equivalent of Thin Bloods, aren't they? They're rejected by the tribes mostly.
Well, I was thinking the Metis was like the werewolf version of the like Nosferatu. Which one am I thinking of? Where you have two werewolves that have a child. And
No,
it's like
that's a
werewolf
Metis.
stuck in the wolf. That's a Metis.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, that's a Metis.
Nosferatu are... They're on that borderline where they're outcasts, but they're still also very much useful to the Camarilla, whereas Metis
Well,
Yeah,
are seen as not.
I think he was making the
But it
comparison
depends.
with the
It
fact
also
that,
depends on the tribe.
Hmm.
Depends on the tribe.
think-
Because like a children of Gaia will be more accepted, but like a silver thing or Wendigo, they're not accepted at all.
I think that he was making the comparison to Nosferatu because of the fact that Nosferatu, there isn't much to really hide other than physically vanishing like they do to disguise the fact that they're a vampire.
They can cast Mask of 1,000 Faces.
Or that. Yeah, that
Yeah.
too.
Well, like
Whereas
show,
the medicine werewolf can just wear a cast or put on an arm sling, for instance.
Hmm. Yeah, you can't just normally go out in public and be like, "Hey, my name's Harry."
Well, I mean,
Nice to meet you.
the more modern Nosferatu can, they're no longer a walking
Sure.
masquerade breach. They just look a bit off, but they're no longer just
I'm
freaky looking. The older ones are.
That's why I want
You're
to
stuck
play
in the
a
warp
white
realm.
trash Nosferatu.
Oh my God, I don't know why that's not really white trash, is it?
That's
No,
not why you
it's
trash. When
That's more
I think of that,
validated.
I think of Honey Boo Boo.
I was
Pretty
just gonna
much,
say,
yeah.
Honey Boo Boo as a
That's where I
vampire.
was going with that. Maybe with a bit more of a meth addiction.
that
the
would
meth
explain a
stores.
few things, though. Can you imagine if Honey Boo Boo is a vampire?
Yeah, she's a Nosferatu, but she's still trying to become like a model or actress or something like that.
Oh, a
I
Cleopatra.
kind of like that storyline.
Yeah.
See,
There is a
I'm
group of
just trying
Nosferatu that are like that. They're called the Cleopatras.
That's awesome.
This gives me future
See,
character.
I'm just thinking of when I watched through Penny Arcade's playthrough of VTM, where they did the Seattle by Night, and they had the one Nosferatu character, and it was literally a guy in a suit, but he was bald, pointy ears, and his bottom jaw hung down to the middle of his chest. And so whenever I think of Nosferatu, that's what I picture. It's just like wrinkly skin, like kind of ugly, messed up, like distended facial features and whatnot.
Huh.
I think of Gary Golden. Golden Gary.
Oh yeah, Gary Golden.
Yeah. Oh, talking of which, has anyone else? I know Noscavian has, but has anyone else seen the Bloodlines 2 party trailer?
Yes. It's,
I'm the one
it's
who
great, guys.
posted in the.
You should all
Okay.
watch
I'm the one
it
who posted it in
and
Discord.
dance. It's a very uplifting video with a catchy dance tune. You're gonna want to dance to it for sure.
It was
And the
pretty
song's what? Thank you in German, right, Dankeschön?
Yes.
How long is it?
You can. Super.
Why don't we
long.
just
I'll
watch it?
find it real quick.
3 minutes? 2 minutes?
Sure. Let's watch it.
People do that on streams all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll love
So,
the reactions.
I'm thinking, because of the delay here, that Celis hasn't actually seen it. So if someone wants to plop a link in, Celis can watch it in his own time.
Copy. Paste.
I'm just trying to find
Hey,
a
good old
picture
fast
of
car.
the,
Fastcart is why we don't need a bot.
To it. He
Fast
beat
car
me
bot.
to it. I'm just getting
Comes
used
with
to
the
it.
bonus
I'm
of
missing
whipping
the
him.
man. You did that. You did that.
You were thinking it. I saw it in your eyes.
I was not. I was thinking something else. Anyway.
How long did it take you to cotton on?
But yeah, that's the What?
How long did it take you to cotton on?
You see, Nitro, I didn't do it this time. You see that, right? You're welcome, Celis. But yeah, I watched the VOD of the Relay Xbox presentation thing. So that's when I saw all of it. Evidently, there's a lot of hate going on for that presentation because it's mostly trailers but no actual gameplay. And when I was watching it, I was fine with it. Like I wasn't bothered by the lack of gameplay at all.
I think
I mean,
it was
it's announcement
funny.
trailers, isn't it? So
Yeah, I didn't really think about it that way. I think the only time my brain thought that way was when they were like, "Oh, Assassin's Creed Valhalla gameplay trailer." I'm like, "Cool! I want to see what the graphics look like in engine compared to that cinematic trailer." And it was nothing but like cinematic shots. I mean, in engine, but it wasn't gameplay. It was just in engine footage. And it was
I'm
just
loving
like,
the drama
okay,
around
never
that
mind.
game because everyone's got an opinion on the historical accuracy, and very few people are right.
I'm not
that
even a big
TLS.
fan of Assassin's Creed, and I'm like, cool trailer. I won't play it.
I'm
Yeah,
waiting for the
me
new
too.
Batman game.
Oh, they tweeted something about that today. Did you see that?
No.
Warner Brothers Games or whatever tweeted something about like, we're glad to see all your enthusiasm. We're gonna have news soon. Something. I saw it on Reddit earlier.
I'm waiting for the werewolf game to come out.
Is that
Earthbound.
Is that Forsaken or is it the Apocalypse?
I thought it was Apocalypse. I don't remember.
Yeah,
It's been so long since I looked at it.
yeah, I'd be hesitant because it looks like it's going to be more of an action game than an RPG. From what they've been saying, I think you can only change into two forms as well.
Yeah, that's right. I think I heard that too. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Which doesn't make sense. I mean,
Yeah.
you only change the two forms. That's not really a werewolf game. A werewolf, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I
think
mean-
you get the wolf form, the human form, and the war form.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if you want to be,
I mean, I would be fine with three forms, but it has to be like human, war, and wolf. If it's just human in war form,
if you want to be strict about it, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines wasn't the most VTM of VTM games. Technically, it was a fantastic game,
Yeah.
but it was a lot more, go there, kill, and it's not really kill. But at the end of the day, it's a game. It's got to be fun to interact with, and that's the difference between the TTRPG. It's fun to be your character, to role play as your character, whereas you've got limitations in a computer game that you can't just sit there and type out and role play as well.
Or multiple choice.
Yeah. Could you imagine like expansion for Bloodlines 2? Now you can play as the taxi driver. You just drive people.
Which
around.
one's the I win button?
Wait. What's that game where you can jump to any character almost? It's a sequel. Watch. Watchdog 2. You remember that trailer?
Oh, Watchdog Legion.
Yes. Yeah, where you can jump to almost any character. That might be interesting.
It looks
The Lego
fun
games
if you're
did
into that sort
before
of
it was
thing.
Cool.
What about the Lego games?
I said the Lego games did that before it was cool.
Nah.
I'm looking forward to Cyberpunk 2. Or Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You and half the world.
I found out
Sure.
that I'm not getting any Halo news until July.
Didn't Halo
That's all
2
I got.
Halo
Remaster
2
come out yesterday?
Just- Yeah, I was
but
gonna say that.
everyone's played Halo 2 a million times.
I haven't.
Not on a
I
PC.
have. True, not on the PC. Well, that's not entirely true. Halo 2 was the last Halo game to be on the PC.
Wasn't the original Halo game a like being
It was
built
supposed to be a
as
Mac.
a Mac game?
It was a Mac RTS. Yep.
Yeah.
That's why you've only got
I'm the
two
resident.
guns.
I'm the resident Halo guy. I know. I know tons of useless stuff about Halo.
Oh, Groundhog, please tell me why you're disappointed in Cyberpunk. I'd be interested. Because I was always on the fence about it, and then I was like, no, fuck it, I'll just pre-order it. Fuck it.
I haven't pre-ordered it.
Oh, I
but
haven't
I'm
pre-ordered
still-
it.
I'm still
The only game
excited.
I've ever pre-ordered was Star Citizen.
I've never heard of it.
I pre-ordered Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh,
Ooh, I'm sorry.
You know,
It wasn't
people
that
hate on it,
bad.
and people hate on it, and I understand why. But if you get past a
Like-
certain point, it becomes enjoyable. I believe.
I
It's
don't.
not
that's what I
bad.
said
It's
to many
just
of
not
my
good.
exes about anal sex, fast car, and it didn't work for them.
I would say that it's not bad. It's not great. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
playable. It's
that
not unplayable.
the
It's like
stuff
first-
that
It's currently on sale on
The
EA
stuff-
Origins.
the stuff that
I don't feel like
made it
installing malware though.
I think the things that made it bad though instead of good was just poor planning on who makes that
The
game again?
rush,
EA?
the rush job.
I'm sorry, who produces that game again? Yeah, it was just a bad
BioWare,
example of a
Yeah, BioWare.
yeah, it's just a bad example of a rush job, like you said. It's like it could have been great, but EA wanted to shove it out,
I mean,
and so they cut
Yeah.
corners.
but
that they
then
shouldn't have
the
cut.
same is true with Star Wars: The Old Republic on release.
Yeah, that's true as well.
Oh,
Um,
they put out new Mass Effect news. They're re-releasing 1, 2, and 3 remastered. So like current
Oh, I saw that.
hardware.
Oh, and did you guys hear that they're remastering Tony Hawk Pro Skate 1 and 2? I love that none of you
Oh.
care.
Cool.
I knew that was gonna get no reaction from any of you, but that was 10
Let
times
me
better
go.
than
Let me
expected.
go put on my skateboarding elbow guard so I can play the game.
Don't worry,
I-
Nitro. I can make you feel
I
better.
can put it back.
They're doing an Evil Genius too. There you go. Nobody cares apart from me.
I've heard.
What
of
happened
that.
to
I'm
that
also looking
Beyond
forward
Good
to-
and Evil?
Oh yeah. I'm also looking forward to the Cyberpunk tabletop, the new one, Cyberpunk Red.
Mm.
I know they released their like jumpstart kit, but I want like the full rule set,
Is
not
that
just.
is that
I'm-
the same? Is that the same person who did Shadow One, or just something different completely?
No, they're different. The guy who makes Cyberpunk's Mike Pondsmith, and the
Yeah.
the original Cyberpunk was made in the 80s, and then they did I think that was Cyberpunk 2013. Then in the late 80s, early 90s, they did 2020, and then there was another one after that, version 3, which was not very popular. And now with the launch of the video game, they're making a new updated version of the tabletop called Cyberpunk.
Makes sense.
Red.
Okay.
Yeah, because I actually didn't know this back when the Cyberpunk hype train went off, but I actually didn't know that it was a tabletop game or that it was based on one until I saw a
Yeah, I didn't
video
know
that
at
was
first
like,
either.
that they were like, is Keanu Reeves' character based on the same Johnny Silverhand that was in the game? And I was like, what game? What are we talking about?
You know
Yeah,
that
so-
Harry
yeah,
Potter was a book before it was a movie.
It was a what?
Lord of the Rings was too.
I have a confession.
No.
Yeah.
I have not watched any Harry Potter movie all the way through. I've seen like half of 2 of them.
I
I've seen
haven't
2 all the way
watched
through.
anything past. I haven't seen past Order of the Phoenix.
Did you know they filmed?
See,
I've read
I'm
the
one of the
book.
They
people.
filmed quite large chunks of
I'm-
it in the city I used to live. Well,
Oh,
near the,
cool.
they filmed it in Oxford.
I think
Some
you
of it.
mentioned that before.
I'm
My
one of the
sister
people who
was-
say. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Vasco.
Okay, I'm one of the people who have to watch something before I can feel free to make fun of it. Like, so I watch all of Harry Potter, just so I can make fun of it. I watch all of Twilight. I know what you're gonna say, Silver, just so I can make fun
Oh,
of
I
it.
don't. No, I don't care how much I want to make fun of Twilight. I am not getting anywhere close to that series, and I stayed away quite far.
I read
laugh.
all of them and watched the first movie.
I watched
The movie-
Twilight 1 and I was laughing my ass off for all the wrong
So
reasons. I
bad.
found it hilarious.
The books
my,
were Okay, the
I mean,
books are good for the audience that they're written for.
Angsty teens.
The first one, yeah, the first one, maybe the first one.
Angsty
The
teenage
last
girls.
book is terrible, and the movies are terrible.
No, I don't remember the last Harry Potter book I read. I did read them. They were I'm not a big reader. As Shiv knows, I can't read. But no, it was one of those things where it was like, here, child, as a parent, my parents were just like, here, child, big book, make you read better, read story. And I was like, okay. And I kind of enjoyed it, but then I kind of realized I was like, I'm not a big reader, so I'm not going to force myself to continue reading this, even though I enjoyed it. And then my sister was a huge Harry Potter fan, and she took me to go see Order of the Phoenix in the theater. And I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, I know I've seen the other movies, but I have no idea what's going on.
Right. If you're a big sci-fi fan, I recommend The Expanse. I recommend Old Man's War. They're good
Mhm.
stuff.
Don't forget Hitchhiker's Guide to the
Any-
Galaxy.
Yeah, I need.
Oh yeah. Have any of you guys read
That's
any
my
of
favorite.
Brandon
I
Sanderson's
like-
books?
Oh,
You were both talking at the same time. Like, what?
Brandon Sanderson.
Yes,
Brandon
I
Sanderson.
like him too, but he's more fantasy.
Oh. He is well. Actually, he has some sci-fi stuff now.
He does
the
have some
Skyward
sci-fi,
series
and I love his
is,
sci-fi.
Yeah.
But for Brandon Sanderson,
man.
I recommend Mistborn. And Elantris was good. Well, anything. I haven't read anything from him that I don't like.
If you've
It's all
ever
good.
read,
It's all good.
if you've ever read one of Michael Crichton's books, you've read them all.
You read it? Wow.
a lot of
The
Stephen
last
King
book-
books are that way too.
I quite like Stephen
last-
King, I have to admit.
The last book,
Yeah,
I
but he's
sat
got a lot of
all
books
the
that
way
have the same.
through. Yeah, the last book I was able to sit all the way through, and I think the only reason I was able to sit all the way through it was because it was more
yours,
so a
Shiver.
collection. It was a collection of short stories, but Isaac Asimov's I, Robot, the collection of little short stories about the movie is like, I thought, oh, the movie is based on the book. No,
No.
the movie is like what if they wrote a movie using the ideology of Isaac Asimov? And I
Right.
love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies.
Right.
But the book was even better, even though the tech is a little bit weirder because you're like, oh, this is very sci-fi, but it's also steampunk in a way
Yeah.
at times. And yeah, it's I don't know. It was really fun though.
I was calling out Shiver because Nitro said the last book that I sat through. And
My shoulder's hurting me today, so I'm a bit. But well spotted. I wish I'd have. Yeah, that was a good one. Missed opportunity. I'll be standing
more
to alert for the
vampire
next one.
stuff. Nah, at least you can stand.
There it is.
So to bring the conversation back around, one of my favorite books is Anne Rice's Vampire Lestat.
Thank you. I was going to bring that up myself.
Books, vampire.
I can't
Segue.
remember
Yeah,
what I don't remember the name of the books, but it was a series about werewolves and vampires or something like that. But my cousin named her daughter after one of the werewolf characters in one of her favorite books.
Oh wow. Yeah, the World of Darkness lore is definitely my favorite, like vampire.
So that means you like Underworld, right? Underworld? No? You don't like Underworld?
Fastcat is now leaving the stream.
That's what we need. That's what we need. We need a night. We need the night where the coterie sits and has a movie night, and we watch all the Underworld movies.
I don't know about all of them. Not all of them.
Maybe not all of
Story
them,
if
but
you-
the
if you-
important ones.
I mean, if you force them to watch all of them, I'm pretty sure some of you will frenzy and eat the rest.
Everyone sits around an unlit hearth, and Isaac pulls up a big old dusty occult tube and starts reading to everybody.
Amon and Xavier get up and walk away.
So no one's
Stay
going to
a
mention
while
Bram
and
Stoker.
listen.
Stay a while.
That's what I base his voice off of. It's my best impression of Deckard Cain.
I'm surprised that Silence hasn't brought that up. Because that's one of Silence's favorite lines is stay a while and listen.
I haven't had an opportunity to bring it up in game, but like that's how I try to get the voice down, is just saying that to myself.
Mm.
Nitro, the books you were talking about that your sister likes with vampires and werewolves, are they Linda K. Hamilton?
Don't know. They
Oh,
might
okay.
be.
Because
Is
those
one-
are
is
erotic
one-
books. I've read a lot of them.
Oh, I doubt it. No, I doubt it.
Oh, okay.
You should ask her anyways.
I mean,
Like,
she
hey, is this
said
the
the
author
names
you
of the
read?
books.
There's
She
another one
said
my
the name of the
sister
book,
likes.
so.
And I read one, and I can't remember where it was.
If you know one where the main character's name is Calyx, that's the one.
Kid, what?
But
So if
the one
50
thing I
Shades-
find funny,
If
Go ahead.
50 Shades of Grey is about BD and S&M, it's 50 Shades of Black and Blue about sadism.
Huh.
I was going to say something, but I'm not. I'm going to leave it alone.
Mm.
No, I was going to say the other thing I wanted to say, like one of the things that I found interesting about the comparison between Underworld and World of Darkness is that CCP actually tried to sue the people of Underworld for infringement.
Really?
I forgot what happened with that lawsuit. It's easy to
They
look up
probably
and find out
lost.
now.
The closest I've
It's
ever
close.
gotten. The closest I've ever
50
gotten.
Shades of Rum
to
is a
reading-
documentary of my life. I like that, David.
The closest, I think it's funny because the closest I've ever gotten to reading any parts of the 50 Shades of Grey books is I once watched a YouTube video where a guy read through paragraphs of the books doing like cartoon character impressions.
Hey, what's that?
And so like he was sitting there just like reading BDSM stuff in like Winnie the Pooh's voice or like
Oh, I think I've seen that!
it was pretty popular.
Where do
back
people
when the
get these
book came out.
ideas?
What did that sound like? So, Mr. Grey, I see you've come into my office. Winnie the Pooh voice.
That didn't
That's
sound
not
That
the
didn't
Pooh I
sound like
know.
Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, I get
It sounded just
I
like
get
leader
it.
of China. What?
I get it. It took me a second.
Now, if I get abducted halfway through the stream, you know what happened.
Yeah, you are closer than you
closer
were
to you now.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, Wuhan's over that way.
Hmm.
So, anyone else have any highlights from the last game?
Amon talking to his wife and almost cybering on stream.
Yeah,
Oh, I've
that-
got an
that-
idea for that, by the way, but that
That
should
almost went farther than I thought it was going to go. And I got real worried all of a sudden because I was like, and I feed on her. And I was like, now the scene's over. What next? And you just kept going. And I was like, oh no, Shiver, what are you doing?
be flirt or seduce me. That's what it was. Seduce me.
Mm, mm.
And then Nitro was like,
Things up.
I'm not very good at that.
Oh man, that
Oh,
the
wait till
part where
Cedra meets your wife.
I want Cedra to meet
Oh,
your wife
no.
now, too.
I want you to introduce CJ as your boss. So you're like, yeah, I've been having all these late
Okay, that
nights
was
at work.
actually one of my ideas.
I don't know which scenario is more likely to happen. My wife thinking that I'm cheating on her with Cedra, or my wife cheating on me with Cedra.
Oh, the ways that could go.
Uh,
I would have to resist.
the Cody will have a quick mission to go, and Cedra will be unavailable. She's visiting one of her blood dolls. then you go home and see your wife. Yeah, wait a
Your wife's
minute.
part of my herd now. Yeah.
I mean, you haven't been to the Toreador domain yet, have you?
No.
That'll be interesting
Yeah,
if you go.
Seedra is nothing like that. See,
Yeah.
Seedra is a very Toreador-like Banu Hakim, but that's because my very nature is Toreador.
Toreador in the game,
You
or at
imagine
least
if I
in
played a
the
Toreador?
Toreador in the domain, are not what you're expecting.
Well,
Considering like the kind of things that Pandora's offhand said, I'm curious as a player, but Amon does not feel like he needs to go there. He's just like, no, I'm good. How about no?
So write something in so you go to the Toreador domain.
And this is why I try not to say anything out loud.
So talking of Armand's wife, how do you feel about that scene? How do you feel it went? Because you said last time you lacked a bit of it wasn't what you were expecting the first time.
No, this time was much better. Pretty much more so what I was expecting from last time. It's just that I guess that I just underestimated how angry she was going to be, which is perfectly normal.
Right.
But no, I completely I thought that this time it went much better. There were still bits where me as a player is just like,
No, that's how
I don't know.
it's in character.
Yeah, it's true.
What's Amon's wife's name again? It's Karen, isn't it?
No,
Izzy.
Oh, Izzy.
Yeah.
I
Izzy,
I-
Karen, Armand.
Pardon me. To be completely honest, I thought Nesca
Amon?
was messing with
Her
me.
last name's Amon.
I was making a joke.
She has a
If
bit of
you
a
say
Karen.
talk to the manager one more time to me.
What's she look like? Does she have a haircut where it's short in the front, or long in the front, short in the back with that little poofy part?
Oh,
No.
gee.
She
With
does have
highlights?
short hair, but not like that. No.
Does Karen have any? Does Karen have any particular attributes that stand out that you want to get off your chest?
No. That's a joke I'm willing to keep in coterie.
What happened in the coterie stays in the coterie.
So
In
where
and
do
out of the
you,
game.
as a group and a viewer, where do you feel the story is going? Do you have theories about anything yet?
Well, I feel like
Hey, quarter square, squatter square.
Squatter Queer!
at
I was
some
gonna start
point
calling
we
you
might
Squirtle.
see some sort of we get caught in the middle of some sort of cult conflict because we've seen some information about the cult of Lilith, and we've seen a lot. Well, not a lot of information, but we've seen multiple different drops of like hints at the cult of Mithras. So we've got this cult of Mithras going around, someone hunting them, possibly the Ripper. We don't know what that is. And we've got the cult of Lilith that we haven't really heard much about, but we know they're a player in this field. So either someone's hunting down cult groups, or the cults are fighting, or something's going on with the cults. We don't know what.
We've heard more about that. So it's part of the whole Second Inquisition thing. And the whole game started out with attracting a lot of these religions and cults and stuff like that. Right?
When he said War of Cult, my first thought was Michael Jackson versus Prince. But my second thought was I'm interested in to seeing the coterie try to find the book that was stolen.
Oh yeah, Book of Knowledge.
That's
I don't know,
not
that could just be some
important.
random
get his
dude.
head back on it.
It's
I know where
important
we
to some
should
of y'all.
check.
What?
I know where we should check. Granted, you're going to have to end up telling me it was stolen. The pawn shop.
That's
If it's going to end up anywhere.
Well,
That could be
I
a
have
So it could be an auction.
buyback.
She just wants some more Frogurt.
Yeah, I
I'm pretty.
didn't finish my Frogurt. I give it to Dolores.
I'm pretty sure whoever the group that the doctor bartered with, who gave him the book, I'm pretty sure they had him tailed, and as soon as we left the book unattended, they stole it back.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, I think it was one of those. Yes, I'll give you this book, and then I never said you could keep it. I took
Yeah,
it
it's
back.
like, yes, I'll
I
give
think-
you this book if you don't question me anymore. Also, you can't keep it.
I think it was
Right.
stolen by someone named Robin. Robin Bastard.
Mm,
In the hood. No.
Celis.
um,
Oh, go on, Nitro. Sorry.
No, I was just going to quickly mention that I was, because of the fact that this went down the whole like missing Tremere route, I was really worried that we were going to do the thing that Xavier's always worried about, where we aren't finishing one thing before going down another. And then all of a sudden it's kind of circled back around to the whole Mithras thing that we were dealing with. So this game was a bit of a relief where it was just like, oh, good, we're kind of circling back around to what we kind of started to ignore for a while and not actually starting a new project before finishing another. So
Celis asks, well, Celis says two things. One is a question. The other one he says, I'll come to first. I think that one of the human cults are gaining, sacrificing human... Let me try that again.
Sacrificing
in
vampires to
English.
gain their power.
Thank you. Which is a really cool theory. And he asks, so did anyone check how deep the stab wound was?
Dr. Bowie, kind
the
of.
doctor probably did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah, that's
Finger's
true.
depth at least.
His hands. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of that scene, like when Maria first fell into the water, into the river or water or whatever, my first thought was, why don't someone jump into her to save her? She's not
To be
dead
fair,
yet.
She's
We've got to have a
screamed
discussion about
and
it first, Fastcart.
To
Evidently.
be fair, she screamed and then got thrown into the water, and there was no mention at all of her splashing around. So I was sitting there
Even
going,
though-
well, I know, but I'm sitting there and I'm going, well, I either jump out or jump in to see if she's dead or not, and it might not matter. Or I just leave here and try and figure out what happened. Or not leave here, but like investigate around here to figure out what happened for clues and whatnot. And then Shiver was like, are you going to help the drowning, splashing around girl? I was like, oh, she is splashing around. Then yes, I will jump in.
Yeah.
But it was just one of...
Sorry, go ahead.
It was
I didn't
just,
mean to-
it was just one of those, like, in vampire, like, I mean, with vampires, they don't care, really. So in my head, I was like, well, she might be alive still. Am I willing to check that?
but
And then Shiver's like, are you going to help the girl that's alive? I was like, oh, she is alive. Okay, yeah, I'll go check.
No, my thought was like, Amar was there over the bridge, looking down in the water, having this personal conversation with himself in his head, not seeing any flashing until he saw the actual flashing, then he jumps in.
Yeah, pretty much.
As a player, I wanted to jump in and save her, but I was like, would Isaac do that? No, Isaac wouldn't do that. So,
See that this is I try to play player that I would act in a moment of my character way. It's really hard for me to do otherwise. But
I
Which
mean,
is why your
yeah.
character could never take celerity.
I'm... I get that reference.
took what?
You could never take celerity. Running fast.
Oh, fine. You said you said it
But-
differently than what I'm used to. But go ahead.
Fast Cut's the fastest. He gets like 5 celerity by default.
I mean, I say
Nerd.
Brujar probably incorrectly as well, simply because the first time I ever heard that word was in Vampire the Masquerade Redemption, and they said Brujar.
I say Bruja.
Yeah? Oh, okay.
How would
Yeah,
you say it?
It
I've
could-
heard Bruja and Camarilla.
Oh,
Silence says Camarilla. but that always makes me think, rice,
Yeah, it would have
octopus.
to be Spanish.
Both
It's
of
definitely
those
not Spanish.
instances would be Spanish.
Yeah.
Do
Well,
you
the,
know where the Camarilla, which country the Camarilla was born in?
Egypt.
England.
England. I
It's
knew it was in
definitely
the
not
old world somewhere. You know what I think is weird, and I think this is a result of the modern day stuff being written before the Dark Ages stuff. That the Sabbat are the original Anarchs. Like the original Anarch revolt became the Sabbat. That never made sense to me. And for my V20 homebrew stuff, I changed all that shit on. I changed it on so much. I actually had the Lasamba as part of the Camarilla in my own homebrew. And I had
But
the
yeah,
Tremere as part of the Anarchs.
But
I mean, it's
yeah,
a different
I've just been
kind of
trying to
anarch, isn't it?
balance.
In a way, because I mean, with the retcon, it was in the Dark Ages, vampires just ruled openly, did whatever they wanted, and that was when they tried to change it, they rebelled, became anarchs, and said, "No, we're not going to do that." And now the new modern anarchs are similar, but not quite as bad, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you analyze it like that, you are quite right.
But yeah, Fast Car, I normally, when I think about playing a character, I would normally go, oh, woman got stabbed, thrown in river, yes, jump in. But there's that moment of like hesitation where I can kind of think about stuff. And I kind of I kind of use that as my like kindred filter, where like kindred don't care too much. So I kind of use that
All
hesitation
right.
to be like, I'm just sitting there like, all right, well, she might be alive, but if someone just stabbed her and threw her in the river, would they have done their job correctly to finish the job? And then it wasn't until I got confirmation that yes, she's alive that I was like, oh, then yes, I'll jump in because
Yeah,
she
I mean,
might have
when
information.
I've been this stuff, I'm just messing with you all. It's like
Right,
I
right.
don't really, I don't really care that much, but I just thought it was amazing.
Well, I mean, because it was brought up in a previous game where it's like, oh, you just rescued your family and you're gonna run away from them to go fight this guy. It's like, well, yeah, they're safe, and I want to go murder the thing because I'm angry.
Celisk says, and quite rightly, I was just thinking that they could have been stabbed with potence, so they would have a pretty good clue what clan the murderer is from.
Ah.
The doctor wouldn't have found that out when he used Taste of Blood?
Nope. Taste of Blood isn't that useful in that regard. It will only tell you if it's mortal or kindred blood. And if it's kindred blood, on a normal success, it will give you a rough idea of the generation and the blood potency. If it's a critical success, it narrows down the generation gap and will tell you if they've committed diablerie or not.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
it probably would
my,
have had to be a more generic medical check for that.
My my animalism trait that I have is a little bit less useful than that. Like I can tell if they're kindred or lupine or whatever. But the one thing that I've been kind of trying to look out to use it for is I can not only sense what they are, but I can sense their intent on like mainly doing harm. So it's like if we're having a casual conversation, but this guy's acting sketchy, but I already know he's a kindred, I'd still use animalism on him because I'd be like, well, is he about to stab us? Because that'd be a good thing to know. That type of thing. So it's like everything's kind of useful in
Your Armon
in
senses
one way
will
or another.
tingle.
Mhm.
Is that what you call it? Jaffer tingling?
It is now. So, anyone else got any highlights they want to talk about? Anything they particularly liked or disliked from the last session?
You want to talk about the priest? I feel
I
like
like
you're
the
hinting you
priest.
want to
Kinda
talk about the priest.
I feel like
priest
I've
was
already.
awesome.
I felt quite. I felt like I've already stouted how much fun I had in that scene, so I didn't really feel like I had to bring it up again.
Well,
But
tell
yeah, I
the threes and
totally
That seems
did
like
that
a good
scene.
satisfying.
No, that was one of those like even though he's kindred and like this innocent girl just got stabbed and thrown off a bridge and he still hesitates to save her, he's still kind of this like he feels like he needs to deal out justice to whoever he sees fit. And immediately he sees this figurehead of a community, this priest, in a very
Compromising.
hairy predicament, compromising position. Thank you. And I was just like, as a kindred, I'm like, oh well, I'm just gonna screw him over because he's he's obviously doing something that's against what he stands for. And then as soon as I went over and I found that he was using the communion money to do it, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be so much better than I thought it was going to be. And so I already had the plan in my head that I was going to do, but the more that whole thing panned out, the better it got. Because not only did I get to just kind of ruin this whole guy's life or whatever because he's doing something he shouldn't, but I also got the correct information out of him without being interfered with. Well, for the most part, interfered with from the coterie. To be honest, what Kalo did kind of helped me because it gave me a chance to rifle through the guy's stuff without the guy being like, "Hey, whoa, what are you doing? Wait a second."
So this brings up a good point, but you never asked how he contacted her.
That's true. Yeah, I there was a few things that after the game ended, I kind of wish I did. I thought at one point I could have. Yeah, that's a good point. Is I never thought about that. But another one was I could have totally done like a rebellious thing where I took his shirt or a piece of cloth from his clothes or whatever and just pinned it to the front door of the church and wrote something on it for him to be found with. I felt like that could have been really cool, but that was stuff I thought of after the game. Yeah, there's definitely stuff I didn't fully do. It wasn't like a 100% that was the best it could have gone, but it was pretty close.
You extracted some good information. You extracted the essentials, certainly.
Mhm.
And no one extracted the essentials from him. Win-win.
Well, you never know what he did after I left.
True.
Yeah, kind of get an idea of what he did after he left.
Well, the nuns won't be drinking the holy water, that's for sure.
Oh, jeez. Did the priest bless it?
This is of my body.
Hmm. Oh, John.
And I put
Father
the
John.
newspaper article that was a sort of follow-up to that in the community Discord for all to read.
Yep, that was pretty good.
That was good.
Yeah, I was impressed by it. I was like, whoa, that's a lot of work. And then so it wasn't that much work.
Yeah, the one that I do a lot of work is if it's a front page of a newspaper, and then I put in several different articles as well as the main article, and put little clues in the side articles. No one picks up on them, but I do, and I'm happy.
You know, Oxford really has a lot of moose, and they have a lot of Granny World Wrestling Championships.
I was about to say I love the little snippet that you made for it, but in my head I was like, a priest gets caught with his literal pants down in the church using community money for prostitution, and there's a bigger article about the moose census in that day's paper.
I mean, moose are very
that
rare.
Granny has potence.
Big granny haystacks.
It's really Baba Yaga.
Oh no, she's dead now.
Okay, that would be a
Oh,
cool
yeah.
spin.
The whole, what is that, Iron Curtain or whatever that? Yeah,
Mm,
that's true.
that was a good read in Beckett's Jihad Diary. That was.
She was a cool character.
She was, but then I think it was oh bollocks.
Then
I
somebody
can't remember the
killed
name
a
of the
dog.
Niktuku. Niktuku?
Yeah, Nick Tuku.
Niktuku that killed her, but it was a little girl Niktuku, wasn't it?
I don't. That maybe.
Isn't-
We're talking about?
Yeah, 'cause for Fast, you might not know this. The Baba Yaga does not mean boogeyman, like the John Wick movies make it sound. Baba Yaga is a mountain witch that originates in Russian folklore, and she's very known for like eating children, I believe.
Okay,
And in
fairy
BTM,
tale.
she was a vampire of particularly
Oh,
high
she is
potency.
a BTM character. Okay.
She was.
Yeah, and
and
I
then
think-
the Niktuku are most of the stuff that's known about them is hearsay. They're an offshoot of the Nosferatu clan. They're possibly the actual Nosferatu clan, but they're all bloodbound to the antediluvian of the Nosferatu clan, and the belief is that they annihilate all the Nosferatu because then Absimiliard, who is the antediluvian of Nosferatu, will be forgiven and his curse lifted, which is why the Nosferatu tend to have heavy fortifications in their lairs and why they're underground as well. That's a TLDR.
They're basically like Nosferatu on steroids.
Yeah, if you, I mean, I'm not saying it was a great movie and you shouldn't go watch it, but the newest Hellboy movie that just recently came out, actually has the Baba Yaga in it, and they made her pretty terrifying. She was pretty creepy in that movie.
I watched that on the plane over.
I didn't like that movie.
It
loved
wasn't
the
as bad
original
as I thought
Hellboy
it was going to
movies.
be.
Yeah,
That's not saying much.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be bad, but it wasn't that bad.
I mean, not Clancy Brown.
I-
Why does his name escape me?
I always forget his name too. The guy from Stranger Things.
Was he in Stranger Things as well?
Oh, are you thinking the new actor or the old actor?
The
Pullman?
old actor.
Ron Perlman.
Thank you. Yeah, if you
Perlman,
haven't got
sorry,
Ron
Perlman.
Perlman as Hellboy, then it's
Yeah, that's what was disappointing for me. I thought he
that
was
guy's-
like a perfect Hellboy.
That guy's face was built for that role.
I mean,
Whatever
that's
you
like
do,
saying-
don't tell him that to his face. You have the face made for Hellboy.
To be fair, he did. And I mean, he also had a really good voice for Hellboy too.
He does have a good voice. I remember him. I was introduced to him by from Beauty and the Beast because it had Linda Hamilton in that, and she was in the first Terminator movie.
Yep.
so.
That's the only reason why. I
Oh
watched
man, I
Beauty
used
and
to
the Beast.
love Beauty and the Beast.
Hmm.
So Clancy Brown was
But
the
then it got
Kurgan
weird.
in Highlander.
Mm-hmm.
Did you also know he did the voice for the crab in SpongeBob SquarePants?
Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob, yeah. He was also in The
It's amazing.
Mandalorian.
He was also in what? Sorry,
Are you talking about Ron Perlman, or are you talking about
Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown? Yeah.
He was in an episode of The Mandalorian.
Oh, really?
And
You've
he's in
seen The
Starship
Mandalorian,
Troopers.
right?
I haven't seen.
not the episode that he was in.
Oh, okay. There was a jailbreak episode where there was they had like this heist team, and the muscle
yeah, I
guy
did see
was,
that one.
I don't remember what the alien species name was, but it was Clancy
Deveronian.
Brown's a big dude.
Deveronian. That's
And
right,
so they just
species.
they just stuck some horns on him and painted him red and made him.
Yeah, but he was in
kinda just
another
talk and
episode too.
grunts.
He played two aliens in that series. I forgot the second one.
He did.
Yeah, you look it up in IMDb.
I'll have to look that up later.
But I am getting Disney Plus on July 3rd or July 2nd because Hamilton, the movie, is coming out on Disney Plus on July 3rd. That's the only reason. And I'll be able to catch up on Mandalorian, the behind the scenes, the Rise of the Skywalker, all that. But I had to wait another month or two.
I was very
The
disappointed
Mandalorian was
with
a really
Rise of the
good choice.
Skywalker. There was no bread.
Must have been bad yeast.
They didn't use the Force.
I guess the
Yep.
leavening force.
So what's everyone looking forward to, if anything at all, in the next game? What do you think's going to happen?
I want
I'll
to
let you guys go
start
first.
figuring out some of these cult mysteries. Figure out what the hell is actually going on.
I've got good news for you then.
Nice.
I'm excited to try and do. I mean, I think the reason why I was so easily able to do it last time was the fact that the priest was in such a predicament that he was in that I was able to just kind of scare the information out of him. Whereas I can't just walk into this like a kindred haven and be like, "Hey, tell me the information I want," and just start throwing chairs and ripping things in half and stuff like that. But I'm looking forward to trying to do some more information gathering in Amon's own unique way. But other than that, the only thing I can really think of that Amon's kind of looking forward to, or I guess me as a character, is maybe adding a little bit of drama in the coterie with the fact that, Amon went on this whole mission or whatever thinking that he was going to have Xavier and Caesar around, and then they show up and now he's kind of pseudo in charge. Luckily the doctor kind of stepped up and was able to help out a lot. But I'm kind of excited to be like, "Oh, Xavier, look how much we got done without you complaining all the time, blah 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 blah."
There's another bit of
Yeah.
drama as well that might come out. I don't know. The fact that you've joined the Camarilla and
Yep,
Xavier
that too.
doesn't know yet.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that'll be interesting. Do you think
Yeah,
Xavier will
you-
kick you out of his house?
I don't live
He's
in this
not
house
staying at
anymore.
his house anymore.
Oh, that's right. That's
No,
Wait,
Xavier's
wait.
probably
Wait.
gonna not be happy at all.
I was gonna say he's gonna be like, Amon joined the Camarilla. Does Dad know?
No, if anything, that was actually the reason why you asked me earlier in the week, you were like, "Do you want to go talk to Pandora by yourself during the week or with the group?" And I knew that at least Xavier wasn't going to be there. And I was like, if anybody, I know Caesar would appreciate this. And I know everybody else is probably here nor there about it. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to what Xavier's going to respond with when he finds out.
I
that
am looking
he's
forward.
the only.
I'm
the
looking
only
forward
monk.
to Pandora. I'm looking forward to Pandora's party for the celebration of Amon joining the Camarilla.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
oh yeah, that'll be cool. That'll be
Another party.
Pandora's party at that. Ms. Hartz, what about you? Is there anything you're looking forward to or predicting, expecting?
I feel kind of out of it. I mean, even though I watched the episode, since I wasn't part of it, it's like I need to get back into it before I'm ready to expect anything. So I want to get back into the feel of things first. That, and I have another letter to write that I haven't written yet.
Oh yeah. Have you got any theories on who you're writing to yet?
I don't, and it's driving me nuts because you say I should know.
I'm mentioning it for.
I don't know anyone else that polite. No one else knows about this. I have a secret pen pal. Cedra has a secret pen pal.
Now you know how I feel when Shiver was like, "Oh yeah, all these things around the Ripper murders. Point to it as being you. Well, do I remember doing it? No, you don't. Well, then it's not me, right? You don't know.
I mean,
Cedra, your
Sorry, go on,
secret pen
Naskim.
pal is Azathoth, the darkness between the stars. You've just summoned an elder god into the universe.
Maybe.
I mean, someone polite, familiar with Oxford,
Yeah, that's no one we know.
a privateer of a
Polite?
bygone era.
That we know.
Who in the world do we know that's polite?
Well, no one that we know. Maybe there's
Someone removed
you
from the
know.
jihad. I think Moscavian's getting it.
Oh, so I wasn't trying to figure it out.
Yeah, this is probably
So,
someone. I'm guessing this is someone Nuskavian might know better than I would.
Removed
Oh, you'd
from
know
the
this
jihad.
person. You definitely would know this person.
Okay. Because I'm not necessarily caught up on all the lore.
You definitely would know this person.
I have a question. Do you guys keep track of everyone that you meet, like in a notepad or a file or something?
We have as of last
I
week.
rely on Shiver to give us a thing.
To be
The
fair,
Book of Fate.
I've been relying way too much on my own memory, and I've been doing a good job. But I think the only things
I mean,
I'm really
I do
blanking
keep
on-
notes. That's
Yeah.
actually what I've got in front of me right now. But then I read them the next week and go, what the hell does that mean? And I'm trying to remember something else. I'm like, why didn't I write that down? So I took
I'm a
better
terrible
notes.
note taker, so
What did you get in?
it's Isaac's notebook. It's the size of the
It's going to be a murder
Encyclopedia
weapon.
Britannica.
Maybe if I open this up, I'll see Shiver's notes on my side too. Is that how these things work?
That would be funny.
Shit.
Tangled book.
Amon is the Ripper. What?
See, Groundhog says that he has a notebook for every RP he was in.
Hmm.
That's how you do
See,
it.
I know
I
notebooks are really important. I'm just really bad at taking notes because my brain just goes, "Oh, that one thing I should have written that down and I didn't."
I take
Well,
some
I put
notes,
everything
but
in it.
Isaac is better at it than I am, for sure.
I put everything in a notepad file when I in text file when I'm doing stuff. So
I'm
Yeah, that-
also really worried that me trying to write everything down, I'm gonna miss something that's happening currently, which I
That's why I
already
try to
do.
type
Even though
when-
I sit here and I do nothing but play the game. I don't like I have Roll20 up, I have
Right.
Discord up, and at most the only thing that might distract me is Twitch chat, which it has. But like I try to have the least distractions up, and me trying to write down notes as people are trying to tell me things, I'm just gonna be like, sorry, can you repeat that 3 more times?
no,
I've
it's
done
like
that.
maybe it's me, but I can half listen to something while I'm writing something else down.
I can't.
So as long as I'm half following something, I can feel it. I can feel in the part that I missed from context from the rest of the conversation when I finish writing or whatever I'm doing.
I remember more just trying to internalize the information than I do trying to type or write it down while hearing it.
I remember more by actually writing something down.
Mm.
If I write something down,
Depends how I'm writing
it'll
it
be,
down.
yeah, it'll be stuck in my brain more than trying to remember when I'm writing it down.
Repetitiveness also helps.
That's it.
Like
Yeah, repetitiveness. That's it.
what was it? I was like my character's still infatuated by that game girl because he doesn't trust her. He's this and that, and it's just I think I had to ask Shiv what her name was once. And I mean,
Yeah, that's fine.
luckily Shiver makes everybody's names unique enough that I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, that name. So it's like Lamia. Well, that's not a name that you hear every day. So I kind of he had to tell it to me once, and now I'm just like, sometimes it'll take me a second, but it's not that hard to be like Lamia.
Uh,
That's
You
what it
remember
was.
you remember Lamia, but you don't remember Mercy. That's fine.
I
I
remember
was half
Mercy.
It's just gone to the
expecting.
back of his memory.
I was half expecting Lamia to be of the Lamia bloodline.
That's where I heard the
To be
name before.
completely
I'm missing something super obvious here. So while we're talking, I'm looking through the character list, wondering who my
yeah.
my
Oh,
pen
that
pal might
person
be.
isn't in the character list. There's no character sheet that's ever been given for them.
But by the way,
Okay,
Fastcart, I very much remember Mercy's name. I purposely
you
in
ask?
character refuse to use Mercy's
I didn't think
name.
you'd tell us.
Ah,
You never know what will happen if you just
Will
ask.
it be a spoiler if I ask?
I mean, don't ask me here and now. Ask in the next letter.
But that's rude.
Is it?
Hey, this has really been nice going back and forth with you. By the way, who are you again?
Don't think we were going to keep confidentiality and privacy and. Fine, I'm gonna ask.
I would. I'd be like, so who the fuck are you anyway? Why should I trust you? What do you know? How do I know that you know these things? What proof is there?
Okay,
But yeah,
fine.
Fastcart,
I'm gonna ask. I thought it was rude.
I've remembered Mercy's name since you were introduced at the ball. I remember his name more than I remembered Lamia's name. It's just I purposely refuse to use your name because
Yeah,
to me
yeah.
you're the lupine. You're the lupine that's gonna murder us all, and that's all you are to me.
He may not be wrong.
you may not be.
I'm
That's why I
just
didn't say
saying, like
anything.
I remember your name perfectly. I'm not using it on purpose.
And just a note for chat. I mean, especially anyone who's watching this, if you want to guest, if you want to try out V5, just drop a message and we'll work it out. We'll sort out something. No problem.
That's what Voices Shiver has to do.
Yes.
So where do you want people to submit their audition tape?
Oh Lord, you know what people.
XXX Iron Rex XX10 at yahoomail.com.
Yahoo Mail. Not Yahoo, but Yahoo Mail.
Why is there a couch in your audition tape?
XXX Samuel Hate 69 at yahoo.com.
I'm tempted. I'm tempted to grab to grab the couch and an image of a couch and put it behind me right now.
Oh, you totally should.
It has to be a certain couch.
That has to be your next background the next time you're in a
That
call
would be
with somebody.
hilarious. That couch, especially if they recognize it.
I'm going to be guesting
I think
on Soul Citizens. I was going to call it Fast Cart Show, but I thought, no, that's offensive. I'm going to be guesting on Soul Citizens, and I thought, can I get a black couch background in time? Because it's just going to be me and 3 black guys.
Hey, okay. You should have saved that for the actual show. That would have been hilarious.
I can still say it, Fast Cart.
You can do it. You can still do it.
if they were using Zoom, I could totally show you how to do it. Shit.
Oh, I could do it on Zoom easy, yeah, but that requires effort.
Yeah.
So has
Fastcart,
anyone
you
got
use,
any
like,
questions? Sorry, has anyone got any
What was it?
questions or anything they want to do, say?
Any burning questions?
Any burning questions?
Wait, wait, wait.
the show!
I need to go find.
What were you gonna say, Nitro?
Oh, it was completely and utterly off topic. It's fine.
Okay.
I have had a
Um,
candle burning this whole time.
I definitely want to be able to slap that newspaper down on like Amon's kitchen table and be like, see, that's the kind of work I do at night. That doesn't at all have to be an in-game scene, but that's definitely something I want to do.
I mean, if she's a Karen, she'll just be like, oh, you terrorize pervert priests. That's the best you can do?
See, that's what I said. That's the line of thought I had when
To be
Nyko first
fair,
said that.
I didn't terrorize him.
So yeah, I'll take it out. When Cedra mentioned candles, it
Text
reminded me
tape.
of this. I haven't set it up yet, but it's you know those wax warmer things? It's a Darth Vader wax
Oh.
warmer thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's
actually
cool.
I've got an oil burner. That's just one of those things with a dish for oil at the top and a tea light at the bottom. That's what I'm burning.
Traven, a woodchuck would chuck no amount of wood because a woodchuck would not chuck wood.
I always forget the answer to that one.
Although I kind of like Groundhog's question as well. How much ground can a groundhog hog if a groundhog could hog ground?
Groundhog could hog ground.
It depends how
Four.
big's the groundhog. Because the
No,
bigger the
Traven's
groundhog.
right.
Yeah,
Mm.
the answer is
The
42.
answer is 42.
So, what was the question?
42 is
actually-
always the answer.
Does anyone actually know what the question was in Hitchhiker's Guide?
How many
No.
roads must a man
No.
walk down?
It was a big
The answer
fuck
to
up.
everything that you.
The
Wait, was it-
question.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
The question was,
Was it 6 times
do you
9 or
get it
something?
if you times 6 by 9?
Oh, really? That was the question.
That was the question. At least that was in the BBC series when they go Arthur Dent
Oh,
to bring
okay,
out
I
the
don't
Scrabble
remember
I
letters.
was
at
going to
all.
say that wasn't.
In
I've
the
never read
book,
the
it
book.
was the cavemen basically who come up with that question,
Yeah, I
and
was gonna
then
say
the
that-
hairdressers wipe them out.
I didn't.
Yeah, that
read
was
the
in the
book,
BBC
and I
series.
know
That happens
question
after.
isn't the-
They crash land on
Yeah.
Earth, and the cavemen are wiped out by
It's in
the
the book.
hairdressers, and it turns out the hairdressers are what we all evolved from. So the program was flawed. Why is a raven like a writing desk? Someone actually did put in a good answer to that.
Oh.
It was something about they both have a quill.
Yeah,
It might have been Groundhog that said that.
I don't remember what the actual answer to that was.
There is no actual answer. In the book, he never
Oh.
answered it.
Because that was one of the questions to get into Halo's house, right?
No,
Yeah.
that was one of the questions in Wonderland. Because it's directly from Alice
That's
in
what it
Wonderland.
was.
It's
Yeah.
one of the riddles the Mad Hatter asks.
Wonderland, Halo's house, same difference.
Wonderland had no
Those
You know
are
what?
riddles.
Speaking of Wonderland, there's a lot of CW superhero stuff going on based in Wonderland. I just watched a Supergirl episode called Alex in Wonderland. Alex, which is one of the characters. Alex in Wonderland. Batwoman. This whole season is about Alice in Wonderland.
They're all just stealing my
You
idea.
ever play the video game Alice?
No.
I bought it, but I've never
Yeah.
played it.
That was a cool game. I think
I
I'd
heard
like
it was
it.
a really good game.
That's one
Do-
that would be cool if they redid.
Do you know what the connection is between Alice in Wonderland and Oxford?
No.
Lewis Carroll studied in Oxford.
That surprised me.
What's the difference between a Lamborghini and a pile of skulls?
You have a pile of skulls?
Love
I
skulls.
feel like I would be good at answering this question, but I'm not sure.
You can perform Shakespeare with a pile of skulls, but not with a Lamborghini.
Hey, I was
I don't
right.
have a Lamborghini.
I don't have a
I don't have
Lamborghini
a
in my garage.
Lamborghini
Yeah.
in my garage.
Might have to steal that, use it, and make it a bit more twisted. That's
Who
awesome.
are you, Isaac?
Wait, what? What?
He's awake now. He's awake now.
It reminds me, I've had an idea. I've got the idea for Isaac's personal story, which needs to be developed, but I was hoping to get a special guest on for that. But they've disappeared, predictably.
Mm.
'Tis the times, you see, the times.
The time
Oh,
is now.
Clayman.
Hmm? I
Oh.
I was complaining about what Traven wrote
Just
just
read
now.
Twitch chat. Yeah.
Sometimes. Oh, okay.
That reminds me of what's his name? Steven, comedian that has these bits that are letters or journal entries. And it's like, I can't remember if he did his JFK one or not. It's like, I decided to go on a car ride today.
I have a JFK joke that's just not safe for Twitch.
Oh,
or
join our
Or
Discord to hear it.
Because he's played some of his songs.
or Abraham
Oh.
Lincoln saying, "I'm going to see a play tonight."
I'll tell my
It's
joke,
that
but
sort of thing.
I'll tell my joke, but not when we're live on Twitch.
Oh, that's cool.
Is it all set up now?
It is really
It's
cool.
more candle than mine.
That's cool.
Does it use like an LED
It should
light
display
or
the
a-
TIE fighters like on the wall behind it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's
You
smart.
can't see it on me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Kind
I
of.
see a TIE fighter on your neck.
Ha!
So does that mean that it's a
I get
necktie?
it.
It's a necktie for
Yeah.
my neck beard.
Hey, I trimmed my beard before I got on the stream today. Thank you.
I didn't. Sometimes I do.
I
but
just trim my head.
Can you give me the shavings, please?
I actually do have a bag of heroin from when I first got it. Because they're perfect to use as beards for drag.
Mm.
Your own hair.
Hmm.
Maybe I have to put my hair trimming and fill in my bald spot in the back of my head.
See, there you go. Just need a little
I bet-
spirit gun.
Sorry, Fast Car. I got dibs on that. My wife goes through my hairbrush
I don't have
sometimes.
anything to say to that one.
My wife goes through my
was
hairbrush
that?
sometimes, pulls out the hair, and I'm like, stick it back in, stick it back in. So any last moment thoughts, things to say before we fuck off?
No, I mean, Isaac's looking forward to learning more about the cult stuff. Yeah, he's got some.
I'm definitely. No, just to go off of the occult stuff, it's been kind of fun just being like a background character and letting the people that are doing like more mystery occult stuff like lead the way, and I'm kind of there to like push them aside when they're like too involved in like, is that the Book of Nod? Oh my god, what is that? And I'm like, all right, come on. But for the most part, it's fun being the background character to just jump in when they need to be there, rather than it's like, Amon, your family's in danger. What should we do? And I'm just like, I'd save them. Sure.
My
Fair
last
enough.
thought is bring back Mercy.
Oh, I'm thinking about Mercy.
You don't
all
want
the
to bring
time,
back
but
Mercy
not-
too much because he's probably going to get killed.
You would be an interesting twist for what the Whipper is. What if somehow the Inquisition managed to get their hands on a werewolf and turned it into a cyborg? Like there's this werewolf in wolf form, and it's like head is like cracked open with a computer in it.
No, like one side, like the eye socket is all metal.
Yeah.
I was fully on
It's like a
board. I was like,
cyborg
oh, and like
werewolf.
trained it
It's
or
like
befriended it or
Kindred.
this and that, and then you're like, but they made it a cyborg. I'm like, all right, that's went a direction I didn't expect it to go.
Celis asked, whatever happened to Back? He got away,
Oh, yeah.
and he may return at some point. He may not.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be back.
No, he is
Back
back.
will
No,
be
you did it in the wrong accent. Wrong accent. Try again.
I'll be
Back.
Back.
There you go.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the advantage of having these characters is if they do get away, of can I use this guy again? Because I mean, like like the
Yeah.
Toreador domain, there are still huge chunks of the city that they haven't been to and just don't know what's going on. There's
I just read quick chat.
and there's at least one entire clan that you haven't even experienced yet.
Oh, the Toreadors?
Yeah,
What?
The Ministry.
we still need to go pick up our whitefish too.
Oh, yeah, the ministry.
Yeah, we do need to pick up our whitefish. Probably per rank at this point.
Yeah, I need to talk to Flint.
No
about
comment.
He's one of my favorite characters, though.
that. I like the chef.
I like
the chef
as
is
well.
interesting.
I like
I'm-
Harry.
Everyone loves
Yeah.
Harry.
Everyone.
Don't.
I seriously need to talk to you about what the chef could be used for,
Cooking?
and then I need to.
Yeah, I was
take
gonna say
advantage of
that.
Fergeder.
I mean-
See if he can make you a nice, healthy kindred smoothie.
He
Or
is,
smoothie
in
for
effect,
kindred.
a poor man's circulatory system.
Yeah.
I mean, as well as information on things.
Right. I'm just that's kind of what I mean. Is like he's not like Harry, where a Nosferatu with where he's connected to the whole tree of information that is the network. Thank you, of information that the Nosferatu have. So I just need to figure out like what kind of information would he possess, because it's not like Harry where I can feel like I can ask him anything and he'd be like, oh yeah, I think I heard about that.
And Cedra's got a completely blank one-dot character that she can make use of as well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I made her into something.
Did you?
I thought I did. And now I can't remember what I went with. Oh yeah, she's the lab technician. CSI lab technician.
That works. Who has just so happened to be at a blood orgy.
Everyone's got hobbies.
Beat me to it.
Yeah,
Don't
just
get
look at
someone else's
Maria.
young.
Oh,
Oh, too soon.
I didn't kill her.
Oh,
Well,
that is so
I
a
think
silver
the
line.
hobbies are
But
very-
I didn't kill her.
Nitro, that makes a fucking change.
What?
So, we'll be back with the next episode of London's Burning Friday? Normal people time? Friday, normal people time. Same time, same channel. In the meantime, have a look down here. That's my penis. Have a look down here for the social links.
Okay.
God, I wanted to do that for so long.
If that's your penis, we have a problem.
Oh, Jiro has come in just at the wrong time as we're finishing up. I'm
Aw.
sorry. But yeah, tune in. London's Burning, Friday, regular time, regular channel, regular antics. We'll see you all then, hopefully.
She
Thank
just
you for
decided to
coming.
become a nun.
Cedra's becoming a nun.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Yay!
All right. Bye.